We're trying to get ourselves connected with audio, so give us a minute. We are good. Sean? Thank you. Let me get myself on. I'm sorry. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is now 6:18 p.m. I'd like to welcome those of you that are participating in the Board of Education meeting in person and those of you that are watching the meeting via live stream on YouTube. We would ask that anyone addressing the board use the microphone at the podium and to identify themselves for the record. As a reminder, the link is on the district webpage under the Board of Education. The streaming will run through the end of the meeting. In the event there is a disruption in the audio portion, I will pause the meeting until it is reestablished. Dr. Elder, would you please announce the meeting?
Madam President, this meeting has been announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Resolution and is a legally constituted meeting of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education.
Thank you, Dr. Elder. All right, so Mr. Sullivan, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Dr. Elder, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
Madam President, we do not have any changes.
I will stand for a motion at this time to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved. Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Bennett. Any discussion on the agenda, gentlemen? Not hearing any, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Hedon, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And I too vote yes, agenda is approved. A report on the closed executive sessions. Both executive sessions were held today on July the 25th at 2023 for discussion regarding the following topics. Closed executive session number 1, discussion regarding limited personnel, specifically interviews with superintendent finalists. This is pursuant to 15-1-H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, and there was a quorum in attendance. Second, closed executive session regarding limited personnel issues, specifically review of a superintendent finalist, pursuant to 1015-1H. H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, and a quorum was also in attendance. As announced and posted in accordance with the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, the Los Lunas School Board of Education Open Meeting Resolution, a quorum of Los Lunas School Board members of education participated in 2 closed executive sessions, both held today, July 25th, 2023, for the discussion regarding the following topics. The closed executive session, specifically interviews with the superintendent finalists, pursuant to 1015-1H2 of New Mexico Open Meetings Act, and a closed executive session number 2 for regarding limited personnel issues, specifically review of the superintendent finalists, and this is pursuant to 1015-1H2 of the Open Meetings Act. There was also a quorum in attendance for that meeting. I affirm that no other topics were discussed, nor was any action taken while in closed executive session. That brings us to item number 6 of the agenda, which is going to be the public comment portion of our agenda. Dr. Elder, has there been any submissions to speak to the board tonight under our public comment policy?
Madam President, there have been no requests for public comment this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Elder. That brings us to number 7 on the agenda, which is going to be the consent sheet and items for consent. I'll stand for a motion regarding the consent items.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I move that we approve the action items on the agenda by consent. Second.
So I got a motion by Mr. Smith, and I'm sorry, was the second from Mr. Hidon? Thank you, Mr. Hidon. So, gentlemen, any discussion on the consent sheet? Not hearing any, I'm going to call for the vote. Mr. Hidon, how do you vote? Mr. Bennett, how do you vote? Mr. Vickers, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? And I too vote yes. Consent items are all approved. That brings us to item number 9. At this time, I would like to thank the finalists and the candidates who applied for the superintendent position. This decision was very difficult. I'd also like to thank everybody who participated in getting our interviews and advisory committees together. I'd like to thank our group that worked with us and guided us through this process. Thank you for working with us and getting us to this step. I'd like to thank people from central office that did a lot of work of planning to get everybody on board and made our interviews today very comfortable. I definitely want to thank the people in our food services. I can't tell you, but we ate very well and they took very good care of us there as well. And I know the maintenance department also helped with setting up the rooms. And I just want to thank everybody that worked to do what had to be done for us to get to where we are today. At this time, I will accept a motion to offer the superintendent position to Dr. Ryan Kettler. Final contact terms will need to be negotiated by myself and my attorney. Our attorney, excuse me. I'll ask for a motion at this time.
Madam Chair, I move that we offer the superintendent position to Dr. Ryan Kettler.
Thank you, Mr. Vickers. Do I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any discussion, gentlemen, on the selection of Mr. Kettler being offered the position?
Garcia. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
So I wanted to echo the fact that it was a really, really difficult decision. I was very, very impressed with the interview process. I was very, very impressed with the interview questions. But the responses to me were outstanding. And it was obvious that there are a lot of people that are concerned about the Los Lunas School District and they want to come in here and they want to make a change. And it was a very, very, very difficult decision. It wasn't something that was done quickly. I want to make no mistake that speaking for myself, I'm going to hold this individual accountable to you and to the students of this district, which are the most important asset we have in this community. So I want to thank all of you that participated. I want to thank all of you that work for Los Lunas Schools and know that we didn't come upon this decision lightly, but we have the best interest of this district in mind, and we will hold them accountable to you.
Mr. Hidon.
Madam President, members of the board. We spent a lot of time on this. This wasn't, we didn't fly by our seats on this one. We spent some time, 2 days up on the hill, trying to figure it out. Executive sessions. We didn't rush this thing. And I thank you guys for that. I want the community to know the work you guys put in, all of us. I mean, I don't want to pat myself. I want to tell you guys the work you guys put in. And that meant a lot because I'm not leaving Valencia County. And you guys did a good job. Thank you guys for that. I also want to thank the committee members that took time out of their day. They didn't get paid today. Maybe some of them did, but they put the effort into that. they put time into this. I feel really good the way we handle this. We didn't rush it. Last person I want to thank is Dr. Elder for keeping the ship headed in the right direction. Thank you. I thank you for that.
Bennett, anything?
No, I totally agree. I'd like to thank all the committees that came together to do this and everybody involved, and also thank you, Dr. Elder, for holding on to the helm here. It wasn't an easy decision, but moving forward, I hope it's probably the best decision for the district. So thank you all.
And I would just like to add that some of the things that I heard is that we are a premier district, and all of the applicants were excited to apply in our district. And that's what I want, is for us to be a premier district. And we struggle sometimes with that internally and externally. But I am also very pleased that this board worked very professionally with each other to get to a resolution. I'm so happy that Dr. Elder saw us through this process and stood by us while we got to this place. And again, I thank everybody who played a role in getting us to today's decision. So with that, unless there's any other discussion, I'd like to call for a vote. Mr. Hudon, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
Yeah.
And I too vote yes. We've selected a superintendent. We're on item 10 of the agenda, which is the superintendent's report. I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Elder.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. We are busy working because kids are coming a week from today, and we are ready. On Thursday, we welcome back our educators. Monday, July 31st at Valencia High School, we have our convocation, and I'd like to thank Principal Aragon and his staff for getting us ready for convocation. Our theme that day will be Beyond High School, PK to Life Ready. We will have guest speakers from community businesses to talk with our educators. We'll have a panel to talk with our educators about life after high school and what they want to see their employees come to them with. And so making that whole life continuum, I think it's going to be really exciting. Our transportation department is ready. They are fully staffed with drivers. The link is up for bus routes for families. Food services is ready to have a lot of meals served free, wall to wall, district wide, starting on Tuesday, August 1st. Maintenance has been working hard. It is hot. And we all know it's hot, and we're starting summer in the summer and it is warm. But maintenance is working really hard to make sure that all of our units are working. We do have a couple of units down, but they're just single instances. We don't have any instances of like a whole wing or anything like that. So they're working hard. And the summer facilities projects have all been completed. So we won't have kids going back into buildings that are still under construction and renovation. Our personnel department has been working very hard, have processed lots of new staff this summer. Right now, we just have 10 openings. We have a week to go and applications are coming in daily. So we have high hopes to start as close to fully staffed as possible. Our school supply initiative for free school supplies. The supplies are coming in through the warehouse daily. The massive orders were placed months ago and are coming into the schools. Our instructional materials are in the works to make sure that students have access to their materials, both digitally and those that will be paper on the first day of school, so they can begin learning day one. Athletics, the coaches gave lists of equipment that they needed, and equipment and uniforms for fall sports were ordered at the very beginning of the summer, according to what the coaches needed. Students continue to register, and of course, the numbers will fluctuate the first few weeks of school. We'll have kids that don't show, we'll have more kids come to register. Right now, we're sitting a little bit over 8,000, which is about where we were at the end of last school year. So we feel really good about our enrollment coming into this year. One thing we're unsure about is the impact of bridge lane closures. And so we do ask our community to be patient with traffic and just have some grace those first few days. Speaking of grace, those first few days, I am so excited. This is the 30th time that I get to open school. This is my 30th year in education. And I will tell you, getting ready for the first day of school has been exciting 30 out of 30 times. And this year is no exception. And so we know that we can anticipate that everything won't be perfect the first day. And we're going to have a lot of grace about that. And that people have been working hard and we are going to be ready. And so I can't wait to welcome our 8,000 students a week from today and welcome our staff back on Thursday. And so that concludes my report.
That brings us to item number 11 on the agenda, which is our audit status report. Dr. Elder, is that you?
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
President. I'd like to call Chief Financial Officer Sandra Tracek to the podium to give us a brief update on the audit committee.
So the board, interim superintendent, Dr. Elder. It's that time of year again, and we've started the audit seasoning, and we now have our audit committee of our 2 audit committee board members. We have 2 community members. Advisor Carlos on the audit committee. We have met in June for the entrance meeting, and we've met one other time in July to go over for the first meeting. Just to go over, we went over like what to expect, and we have started our what they call PBC listing that the auditor has sent to us, wanting the initial information. So that has started. We will meet monthly, and we will end up meeting monthly until November. Mid-November is when the audit will need to be completed. So, and then once that's done, it will go to the state mid-November. And then once the state approves it, then it will go to the board to finalize it. And once that's approved by the board, then it'll go out to the public. So that's just kind of a synopsis of what's going to happen with the audit. So, thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Biggers, is that the committee you chair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to add?
There was a mention of the audit findings from last year that they have been dealt with and taken care of. Correct. So that's cleared.
So I had submitted an example for the first audit finding was on the student nutrition, the tick sheets. And so I sent an example of what the tick sheets and a little synopsis of what they do over to the auditor. And I haven't received any response on that, but that's been sent over. And then the other finding had to do with a deposit that we had in another bank, and that money has been withdrawn and put into our main bank account. So as far as I believe, both audit findings have been corrected.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else?
That's it.
Any other board members question on the audit? No? Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
The remaining items seem to be all consent. I believe where we're at next is going to be on item number 14, new business. So if there's any board members that would like the items on the agenda that you're aware of at this point, if you want to let me know what those are, I can jot them down and make sure they make their way to our next agenda, which would be August 8th.
Madam President,
Yes, please.
Under number 14, I would like to ask you to figure out a time that we can have a work session in the near future with the new superintendent.
Would you like me to provide dates by the next meeting, or would you like it to be on the agenda and we discuss starting dates?
I would hope that you could poll the board members.
Okay.
Come up with dates so we're prepared for the next meeting.
Thank you. Okay. Will do. Any other comments or suggestions for the next agenda?
Ms. Garcia, so I have policy related ones, but I will verify the numbers and then I will send that to you in as soon as I can.
Thank you. Yes, because August 8th primarily is a policy
Right.
meeting.
So I'm going to make sure that we have that on.
And Dr. Elder, could you remind us on the policies that we are discussing for hope possibly final approval? C
I
and
believe C and F.
C and F.
Mhm.
Okay, any other board members have comments or topics they'd like me to put on the next agenda? Not hearing any, of course, if there's something that you think of after tonight's meeting, please get with me as soon as possible. I will be meeting with Dr. Elder to get this agenda set probably this week, probably by Thursday, no later, so let me know right away. Okay. Announcement of meetings, that brings us to item number 15. As allowed by the Open Meetings Act and the District Open Meetings Resolution, on occasion, a quorum of board members attend the same function, including those held at school sites, at district level, as well as sports functions and end-of-year activities and graduation. Board members will refrain from discussing and or acting on Los Angeles School Board of Education issues in those settings. In addition, only official meetings are published, and if meetings are scheduled, they will be announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. With that being said, I'd like to announce the following meetings. July 31st, the Los Angeles School District will be having its convocation over at Valencia High School at 8 o'clock in the morning. And a quorum will possibly be in attendance for that. It's at 310 Bonita Vista Boulevard in Los Lunas. On August 8th is our next regular board meeting at 6 p.m. here at Central Office Boardroom. On August 15th is the Finance Committee meeting here at Central Office Boardroom, 3 p.m. August 15th is also the Audit Committee, Central Office Boardroom, attendance by invitation only, and that'll be at 4 p.m. On August 15th, we'll have a board work session, Central Office Boardroom, 5 p.m. This is our district facility master plan. A quorum will be in attendance for this work session. And then on August the 22nd, the regular board meeting will be at the Central Office Boardroom at 6 o'clock p.m. This leads us to the adjournment of the meeting, item number 16. Before I call for an adjournment, I don't know if there's any items we need to sign before any board members leave. Please double check if there's any signatures needed. And there will be. And at this time, I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So
I got a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Bennett. Any discussion on adjournment? Not hearing any, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Hidon? Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
yes.
And I too vote yes, meeting adjourned. 6:41.